against Pi, who I just noticed was in the tournament. I think Reanimator's top tier. I mean, I usually define tier by how popular decks are. It is somewhat popular, but I wouldn't put it in the most popular category of decks yet. Pi's been playing a lot of like elementals and then like 4-color control. Do a little scouting. I think I'll probably get a mulligan this. It's pretty close though. Yeah, Pi just trophied with this. Seems to be a probably pretty good matchup game 1. Really light on graveyard hate. Yeah, let's go to mulligan this. Oh no. I mean, I have to keep this. You can see the problem. I don't have any blue mana. It is what it is. Blue mana or Unmarked Grave are good draws. We've got a lot of time. Oh, maybe I should have kept the swamp actually. That way, if I miss on blue mana, I can draw it in 3 turns. Then in 1 turn go mending plus persist. We'll see what happens. Anything will change? Not. I'll be evaluating, but not at the time of making this comment. They get ending, which is a pretty useless card here. Okay. Just need blue source. Can also just discard the hand size. But yeah, I will. I think I should have probably put back a mending and kept the swamp. Esther with the 1 year. Thank you, Esther. 1 year of very much non-consecutive months, but thank you, Esther. But, you know, almost 4 years of real world subscribing. Okay, minuses to play around ending. Please. I don't know. This will be, you know, their clock is really slow. We can just go discard the hand size. Just feels kind of painful. Their deck's really dirtily. And you know, they can maybe have a Solitude for Archon, but I'm at least feeling okay. So blue source is still the best draw, but now we just get to discard Archon of Cruelty to hand size. We could have done this last turn if I didn't play my Godless Shrine. Right on time, right on time. It's okay, it's okay. Like, you know, we get to do things now, and assuming that I have the right list, or I saw the right list, Pi doesn't have any counter spells, might have Solitude, and is smart to Solitude right now before I'm able to Ephemerate in response. But this is a good start. Yeah, this is still game 1. They're at 9 life. Okay, we do need to hit a land in the top 3. Any land does it. I don't know. I guess need is, you know, strong word. We probably actually just have a lot of time here. This matchup seems pretty good. All right, I'll discard Archon of Cruelty and then mending. Yeah, Teferi Time Raveler is what you're missing. Dear Twitch chatter. They sack their Fury. Go down to 6 life. Bounces the Archon, which is fine. I have a 3rd Persist, which is pretty nutty. Although I'll probably go Unmarked Grave, Persist, Ephemerate this turn. Loses the Abundant Growth. This might not be better. I mean, it gets both. They probably sacked the Teferi to the first Archon trigger, so I want to get the Omnath off the field. The problem is, like, the Unmarked Grave could give me a Rites, and so I don't technically have another reanimation spell at the moment, but that shouldn't be the end of the world. Solitude gets me pretty good here. They don't have a second Solitude, which is pretty lucky for me. Like to draw Grief. Not a Grief, but my opponent's at 3. I've got an Archon of Cruelty and super ahead despite missing like 1,000 land drops. This matchup seems very good. Yeah, and we're at 36 life. Singleton, Creeping Chill to turn Unmarked Grave into an actual Helix. I mean, I would consider it if I never had to draw Creeping Chill, but drawing Creeping Chill is so miserable. And it will almost never come up, too. Like, or it would come up in games like this where you can, like, probably never lose anyways, you know? Yorion into the hand, so they must have Solitude, and they have to main phase it, otherwise they could Ephemerate. They do pitch the Yorion, so they have 4 unknowns over there. If I draw a... I guess I can't untap land to get an Archon, because both my Archons are in my hand, but we're probably going to start off this turn with Mending, and then maybe Grief Ephemerate too. Alright, let's discard one of the 2 Archons, and then the Marsh Flats, play the Courtyard tapped. Then let's Grief Ephemerate, and then next turn we can Unmarked Grave for Rites and win the game. Ephemerate's the Ice Fang. I guess I could have Ephemerated in response to the fetch. I should probably Solitude the Ice Fang to stop them from getting to... Yeah, I should just Solitude the Ice Fang. Letting them draw 2 here is, like, I think the only way I can lose. Okay. So let me just double check the last list Pi posted. I'm pretty sure, assuming that this was yesterday, picked up a trophy with the canister pile. Sideboard is 3 Flusterstorm, 2 Dovin's Veto, and Emrakul the Promised End. I don't know why that's in there. 2 Endurances. So 2 Endurances in the 95 card deck makes me feel pretty good. I will play the 4th Teferi because that's our hedge against Endurance. And the counter spells too. I don't really want these endings. No, it was Emrakul the Promised End, not Aeon's Torn. I'm gonna play like 3 Thoughtseizes. Budget alternative to Teferi Time Ravel. I think Teferi is really, really important for the deck. I'm not sure that there is a good alternative. Yeah, this seems like a really good matchup for us. Like, you can play Counterspell, right? You can play Counterspell in these decks instead of Teferi, but Teferi is just so important. And so good. This is maybe like... Teferi is maybe like at its best in this deck, or at least decks like this. The 1-lander. Does Abundant Growth find you the 2nd land? Nope. You think Esper Ephemerate could play Yorion? It could but shouldn't. Could but shouldn't, in my opinion. Such bad luck. Golly. That's like 5 looks at a land. Can I get some gollies in the chat for... pour one out for Pi? I'm just going to cast the Grief. There's Emrakul the Promised End. I'm going to take the only card that does anything. Draw 2 and discard. We could do that, yeah. I mean, I don't think we need to nitpick too much. But if we discard Archon, we could get Endurance. And here I'm just going to go Unmarked Grave, Persist. Pretty obviously. Land or non-land here, you think? Oh, chooses land? Chooses land. All right, so we advanced to 5-1. Feeling pretty good. Well, our hand's great. I'm gonna keep this. Really want to draw a black card on turn 1, but obviously it's fine if we don't. I've talked about this a lot today, but I have found that this matchup, it's really important to win game 1. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we have to win this. Yeah, let's not just play the Persist into counter magic. Let's try to find a black card for Grief. Am I really gonna discard Teferi? I'm gonna discard 1 land. Discarding Teferi feels so weird, but I think it's correct here. I think I need this Ephemerate pretty badly. Not gonna Grief right now. Draws 2. Why are you thinking for your 4 months? I don't know if I missed that, but appreciate you. Kind of seems like... Okay, there is a land over there. Okay. Wall of Omens. Does feel bad to pitch the Grief, or the Persist, but we have to. Then we'll see what the hand looks like over there before we decide what else we're doing here. Supreme Verdict, Restoration Angel, Wall of Omens, Spreading Seas. I'm going to take the Verdict, I think. And then just Persist with Ephemerate up. Yeah, the full playset of Spreading Seas. Discards Restoration Angel. No counterspells is pretty surprising. Best case scenario, they go for Teferi minus on Archon. Okay, we got more black sources in hand. This isn't that bad. Not gonna Ephemerate there. I want to keep the Ephemerate to protect from the Teferi minus. Hopefully no Solitude is drawn. One of the 2 draws was Colonnade. This card's Flooded Strand, goes to 7. Thank you for the Dono Star. Glad you're liking the YouTube content. Appreciate you, buddy. This hand is Island, Teferi, Wall of Omens, 2 mystery cards. You can't cast Ephemerate if they cast Teferi. They have Teferi Hero, not Teferi Time Raveler. We beat Blue-White Control twice today, but of course we're playing against the Master. Right, in this spot I think it's worth it to just cycle the Ephemerate for the Archon trigger. Another land really feels bad. Opponent's hand is Island, Teferi Hero, mystery card. I guess we have Mending in the Yard to Flashback at least. Another land. Oh my gosh. Tilter. I should have kept the black fetch. 21 lands, by the way. A lot of good draws here, though. This is game 1. Okay, I'm going to keep the swamp, I suppose, to be able to hardcast an Archon if I draw it. But I'm going to grab the Unburial Rites here. Okay, we don't know any cards in our opponent's hands. Good draws include bounces the Spreading Seas on the grave. Yeah, I do have I mean the Unburial Rites cost white to flashback, and I do have a swamp in my hand. Persist is a good draw. I guess Grief is not a good draw. Okay, that's one of the two. Just trying to think. I can go for the kill here if this resolves. Just put the Ephemerate on Archon if opponent has nothing. And then also the Archon's 1 power bigger if the Rites resolves, but that's not super relevant. The full 4 copies of Spreading Seas is just so weird. Oh, I also have enough white. Sorry, I have enough white mana. I don't know why I thought I only had 1 white source. I can probably resolve the Rites here. Yeah. So maybe it was better to flashback Rites first, because like our opponent will just snap off a counterspell on it. But if this resolves, then I can go. They'll sack the Teferi Time Raveler, and then I can go flashback Rites on Grief. And then that can maybe clear the way for the Ephemerate here. Drew Ending. Yes, let's go. Flashback the Rites on Grief. Alright, definitely going for the kill. Yeah, let's go! Alright. Alright, let's freaking go. I've mentioned this a lot. Winning game 1 is really, really important in this matchup because they're a lot more favored sideboard games. Although that is less true of the Yorion variants. Let's freaking go. Alright, this has been my sideboard plan against blue-white. I'm going to keep it this plan. They're still favorite game 1. No, I think that we're a slight favorite game 1, and they're a pretty solid favorite in sideboard games. But I think we're a slight favorite game 1, especially because they have all these like prismatic endings, which don't do almost anything. They've got a lot of cards that are kind of weak, and they have no graveyard hate game 1. Yeah, we're also 2-0 with the cube deck. I agree that deck's pretty bad. We played against some bad decks too. I feel like this post board is better versus this variant compared to classic. Yeah, that is true because they will find their graveyard hate less often for sure. Prismatic is only for Chalice and 2 and Lanterns. It's for Rest in Peace and Chalice and Teferi, but mostly Rest in Peace. Unless Wafo's on Lanterns, then I guess they're for that. How is Rhinos an elemental matchup? I haven't played against either matchup much, but historically, I've liked the Rhinos matchup with Reanimator. And Elementals is really unpopular at the moment, so I don't really know, but I feel like it's probably good because Elementals is not playing many Endurance at the moment, from at least the list I've seen. But if they're playing 4 Endurance, it gets a lot worse. Yeah, I'm glad I finally figured this deck out too. It took a long time, but I do think this is the best version right now. Probably have to keep this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Waffle's a Hall of Famer. If not, definitely a legend. Yeah, definitely a nice guy. He said that he liked my style, which I thought was really nice. I'll never forget that. Maybe I should have discarded the second Mending. It is somewhat close. I'm going to flashback the Mending. I'd like the ability to maybe go Mulldrifter plus Ephemerate Mulldrifter next turn. Yeah, I would definitely play Esper Triumph if it were legal. But it wouldn't be that big a like upgrade in this deck, but it is a bigger upgrade for other decks. 2 cards on bottom with Omen of the Sea. Plays Misty Gate. I like just hard casting Grief here. Resolves, okay, good 2 for 1. Memory 2 copies of Memory Deluge, Dovin's Veto, Solitude. Not great for me. I think I take the Veto. I could take the second Deluge, but I should be casting like Mulldrifter next turn. That's gonna like at least incentivize my opponent to not cast Deluge next turn, right? I might be able to Ephemerate the Grief too. Off-color Triumph just be better than Esper Triumph. I mean, it wouldn't just be better in an Esper deck, but I really dislike the off-color Triumph. It just like I think it being a tapped Guildgate most of the time is more relevant than it sometimes getting Leyline of the Void, which isn't a very popular card, and you have Teferi to deal with Leyline of the Void. You figure take Solitude? I'm not really worried about Solitude here. We have plenty of time to deal with it and play around it. The thing is, they have so many answers to like a resolved Archon in the deck that like just trying to take one doesn't make that much sense. Especially when Dovin's Veto is going to stop our reanimation spell for the Archon. Like I'd rather get the Archon trigger and have them Solitude kill Archon, or if they Solitude kill Grief, I'm totally happy with that too, because then it'll get sacked. It'll get sacked to the Archon eventually. But I'd rather draw the card, make them discard, and then rather than have the Dovin's Veto answer a reanimation spell. So Glacial Fortress is one of the new cards here. I do have Prismatic Ending that can deal with Teferi. I really doubt though that our opponent would bounce the Grief, so we might just get to attack the Teferi. And then maybe we get to go Thoughtseize into Evoke Mulldrifter into Ephemerate. Okay, they pitch Prismatic Ending. So I guess I'm just gonna hardcast the Mulldrifter. It can attack the Teferi next turn. What I'm saying is Flooded Strand, Scalding Tarn, Solitude, Memory Deluge, and then one card on top with Omen, then a new card. Yeah, Prismatic Ending answers Teferi, but yeah, the card's not that good. That's really all it answers. But answering Teferi is really important. Okay. Just gonna start off by attacking Teferi, see what my opponent does. They let it go. Thoughtseize. They have 2x Solitude. Sorry, I forgot to... Yeah. Sorry, that's not a known Solitude. Cast Illusion response. Flooded Strand, Scalding Tarn, 4 unknowns. Dovin's Veto's Thoughtseize. Alright, I'm going to Ephemerate the Mulldrifter. If they Solitude here, it's fine. No Solitude. Do I minus to play around ending? I think so. I feel like the card is really valuable here. We could bounce the Mulldrifter, but we have the Ephemerate rebound. Plays Castle, flashes back Deluge. It's gonna be hard to lose this game. Step 1 would be Solituding the Drifter here to stop me from drawing 2 more off the Ephemerate. If you minus Mulldrifter and don't play a land, you get to discard Archon. I already have an Archon in the yard. Yeah, I think this is my third blue-white opponent this tournament. I think the matchup's a little bit better than I thought it was. Yeah, we did win game 1. We're up a game. Yeah, Mulldrifter OP. It's kind of funny. Wafo was the one that, you know, pioneered the Mulldrifter technology. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go cast Grief into Persist at instant speed. Alright, so Teferi, Time Raveler, Counterspell, Hero. I'll just take the Time Raveler. We lost to Judd Saga. We would have won game 1, I think, if they didn't have 2 main deck spell bombs, which is part of the reason why the Judd Saga matchup is tough. Just all the main deck spell bombs. Haven't seen a single blue-white opponent draw a graveyard. Hey, we played against the Rest in Peace, I think. But yeah, they haven't drawn very much. Yeah, I don't think the matchup is like as good as our record against it today would indicate. It's not bad, but it's not like so good that we just like sweep like we have today. But also, you know, these 80 card versions, they don't get to draw Rest in Peace as often. So you have to persist in response. Top 8, baby, let's go! How to get through the control god himself. Oh, this hand is so much better on the draw. Gigantha the Wellspring. This is turn 3 Persist. I think I'm supposed to keep this. Top beta challenge match. Turn 1. Oopsie, forgot to play the land. Hey, what's up?
Thought I would scare you.
No, I heard you come in. Okay, we're about to... Wait, what happened here? They memory jarred. Okay, they memory jarred. So let me on F6 here. And then... We're playing against Affinity. Wait, no, this is turn 4 Archon. That's fine. Thanks for the raid, Wafo. Okay, we just won our trophy match with like very, very bad deck, I think. And then we kept a really weird hand. This was not a great plan. I think it's fine. It's fine. And Yellow Hat, top streamer from the top player. Yellow Hat, thanks, dude. My resub is up in your chat today. I was in there, but you had a delay, so I didn't want to resub with the delay on. Oh, Thought Monitor. Okay. Everything's fine. That is the best draw by a lot, and that is the best draw by so much. I can't believe it. Hold. This was not a great plan. Yeah, I would keep. This hand was probably not a keep on the play. It might work out though. Malaki, thank you for the 11 months. Discards a Spire Bluff, Silver Bluff Bridge. Yeah, and then we also don't need to fear Galvanic Blast killing my Archon because I have Persist and Ephemerate here. And we have 2 Stony Silence on our sideboard. I forgot about the Stony Silences, but those are mostly for like Jund Saga to beat the spell bombs. Pretty lucky to play against Affinity in the top 8. Can probably beat the Springleaf Drum. Yeah, Aether's. Yeah, Aether. They could have Aether spell bombs, so we'll try to save the Ephemerate for that. All right, they discard their last card and they sacrifice one of these 2, probably. Why didn't they cast Galvanic Blast? Why wouldn't you cast Galvanic Blast there? They could kill the Archon, or they could just blast me, but I don't see why you wouldn't cast it. I mean, they're not. You don't accuse them of sniping here. Like Galvanic Blast, like is correct if they're sniping or not. I think they just didn't realize they had enough mana. That's my guess. Yeah, see if they're playing the Aether spell bomb. If they're not, things are really hard for them. Yeah, it could have been an accident. They get Ginger Brute. And then they drew Springleaf Drum. Okay, so we get to Ephemerate after attacks. It's a good draw. Taking 11. I'm going to Ephemerate rather than attack here so I can block. Okay, and then I guess we go. Just Unmarked Grave Persist instead of Teferi. Pretty easy. A little free for the bean, perhaps, you might say. Some might say free for the bean here. Yeah, this is game 1. All right, I think things get a lot better for us for post sideboard, so I'm pretty happy to have one game 1. Do I want Fatal Push? Push is probably okay. I already have Solitude though. Teferi doesn't seem that good. I think I'll play 1 push over like Teferi number 3. Can still bounce like Saga tokens, can bounce some Graveyard Hate. Or maybe I want to cut the 4th Archon when I bring in the Emissary, and that can be push number 2. That's probably okay too. Push is also probably better on the draw. Is Kasaki better than Stony in these spots? No, because Stony Silence like turns off their like, it doesn't stop their Lantern ETB, but it stops like Nile Spot Bomb Lantern from exiling your graveyard. That's the main reason your Stony is here. Cut 1 rights, you could do that, but you didn't tell me what you wanted to add. 1 push for 1 rights. I think I'd rather cut the Teferi, but or the 4th Archon when we bring in the 4th big creature and the Emissary to reanimate. Sand obviously needs some help, but I think you keep this like every single time. Yeah, but Stony Silence is also better against Affinity than Kentucky. I think it's close. Maybe Kentucky's better. Okay, that's fine. Got a lot of good draws here, not just Archon or Emissary. Stony Silence is great. Solitude is great. I think the 4th Archon's better rights. I really like them. I like the rights, but I don't know. It is a little slow in this matchup. You're not wrong about that. Imnor, thanks for the 11 months. It's a long time. So they did not equip the Shadow Spear, so it's possible they are holding up a like counterspell. 2 life on Mending is pretty nice here. Discard, discard. So I'm gonna Prismatic Ending. Hold on. I guess I get the basic island and then Prismatic Ending. And then we can draw Solitude, and that makes our turn better, or we're just going to cast the other ending. Okay, so we found the Solitude, so I'm going to discard Marsh Flats. Marsh Flats Mending, and then Solitude one of the companions, and then Persist the Solitude. And they can Metallic Rebuke me here, so I don't need to, I think, hurry. It also writes the Solitude if that's more mana efficient. Trying to think if the 1 life matters at all. I don't think I care about the 1 life. Feeding with Rebuke. I mean, Rebuke, Denial, whatever. But they play both. Like, it's not unreasonable for my opponent to have either. I'm not personally under the impression that there is a stock Reanimator list. Or, sorry, Affinity list. I could be wrong. Yeah, but I'm definitely under the impression that there's, like, no stock Affinity deck. And look, there's the Rebuke. Get the Swamp, and then let's go Rites on Solitude. Yeah, you're good. Just I think a good moment for a lesson, right? I'm not gonna block here. Okay, might just bounce the companion. I can also persist the Solitude if they block with the Frogmite. Kind of surprised they didn't. I guess I can draw Ephemerate, so I want to leave up the white mana. There's not really any 1 mana black spell I could draw. We're dead to another counter spell, actually. So I guess I was supposed to play the Teferi pre-combat. Yeah. Yeah, that was a big mistake. Big mistake. Okay, we lost. But I like my sideboard plan. We get to be on the play for game 3. On the play, I might play third Teferi, especially seeing all those counter spells. I think I'm gonna cut a Mulldrifter before I cut a Rites. Was it better to pitch Tef and then persist the Solitude? Well, if we pitch the Tef to Solitude, we're persisting the Solitude to kill Frogmite, but I mean that line like probably wins the game and plays around the Rebuke, so yeah, probably. Cut Ephemerate. Ephemerate plus Solitude is insane in this matchup, and it's like really only good with those. But like if I could draw Solitude plus Ephemerate, that's like good enough to keep. So I really like to like have access to that draw, and I like to have access to like a fast Emissary or Archon as a draw, or a Stony Silence. These are all like really good opening hands. The Sand's great. Could lose. So obviously the Sand is not an auto win or anything. I'm trying to think if it's like 100% that I'm supposed to get Serra's Emissary with Unmarked Grave, or if there's a chance that I'm supposed to maybe get Archon. If I draw a land, especially if I draw a black source, I'm pretty likely to also wait to play around Graveyard Hate. Yeah, Dispatch is probably good call. A good enough call to get Archon. And I can also like with the drum, if they don't have Graveyard Hate here, if they have another counterspell, we might be able to stop them from countering a spell with the Solitude. By exiling like the Ornithopter, and then they can't Rebuke. Artifact, Land Cycle, Sojourner's Companion. It's better to bounce Treasure Vault. I don't have a third land in my hand, but you'll just see. But I mean, I would rather get an Archon in play, I think, than bounce the Treasure Vault. Especially while my opponent's tapped out here. And even if they do dispatch this, it's not the end of the world. In fact, I can maybe Solitude Ornithopter to play around dispatch because they don't currently have a white source in their hand or in play. But then I'd have to pitch Ending, or I'd have to pitch. Yeah, I think that's probably a little bit of a spew. Our hand's like got a lot of gas. And then here they would have been able to go they would have been able to spend one more mana on Thought Monitor and cast Dispatch anyways if they have it. They would have played Frogmite. How I don't understand the Frogmite comment. How would they? We don't know about Frogmite. Okay, I'm gonna ending one of the Ornithopters here so that they have to sack a Thought Monitor when we attack. Do you need to draw another land? Wait, they have a spell here? Oh, they're trying to cast Metallic Rebuke, but they just don't have the mana. Really need to draw lands. Maybe not that badly. Like, I would like to draw a land. They definitely have Rebuke. I think with the second Teferi, now I'm going to go ahead and exile the Monitor. And then this like does stop them from potentially. They need to have Creature plus Dispatch. One of their cards is Dispute, so they need to have those two cards in their 3, and they don't have it. And despite like our pretty egregious misplay in game 2, we do top 8 because they didn't play Frogmite, which also been a white source. Yeah, but they can have like literally any other creature wombo. So I guess I just don't know why Frogmite like specifically is the card we're talking about. But Believers paid off. Believers are paid off, and we're gonna run it back. Okay, we are playing against Crusher. Good luck to Crusher. Last seen playing Hammer Time. So if we see a Lurrus revealed, oh, Hammer Time with no Lurrus. Well, Hammer Time is a pretty good matchup. Hammer Time is a pretty good matchup. I think I'll keep this unknown. But if this is Hammer, this is a little slow if we don't find like Persist. But I would keep this in the blind. Doom said they're on Hammer. Yeah, I might mulligan like knowing 100% they're on Hammer. They probably are, but I don't like, you know. I don't know, let's just keep this. Yeah, they're playing Nettlecyst and Sword of Fire Ice instead of Lurrus. They mulled a 6. This hand's not bad. I don't know that I would 100% keep, though. But good to know for the future. Always on Hammer. So they're playing Relic and Rest in Peace and Sanctifier. Oh, no. Oh, no. Seeing Rest in Peace, it just makes my, like... Rest in Peace is not that common for Hammer, because I guess because of Lurrus, but... It makes my sideboard... Stony Silence plan so much worse. And they have Sanctifier. Getting a Unmarked Grave for Serra's Emissary does beat Sanctifier. Opponent with a very difficult mulligan decision, I guess. Alright, which is Prime, thank you, Kings. Turn 1 Saga. Always interesting. Not the best draw, I guess. I'm going to grief them on turn 1, though. Oh, I guess they're like really likely to just make a token next turn. But they actually weren't. They're gonna go Paladin plus Hammer next turn. But now they'll make a token. Probably. That was their draw for the turn. So I'm gonna get Godless Shrine. And then I might main phase the Mending. I guess I'm not gonna grief away their Hammer. Okay, I can Prismatic Ending the Minmite or the Paradise Mantle, and then they can't make a second construct. Which is pretty relevant if I just draw Teferi the time. If I just draw a land for Teferi, I can just bounce the one construct that they do make. And this is also their only other white source. So yeah, I think this is probably Probably fine. Would have been a lot better on turn 1. If we had drawn that last turn, the game kind of just ends. Yeah, but this makes land. This makes like Teferi just so much stronger. The hand is just a Colossus Hammer, and then they can get. They'll probably get a Springleaf Drum with the Saga, but it does depend a little bit on what they draw. They get another Mantle. Wait, are they not playing? They drew another Saga. Okay, that's really good. We'll take 7. So land is good to bounce the constructs, but are they just like not playing Springleaf Drum? Whatever, I'll look later. Okay, that's the land to bounce the constructs. Getting basic planes here, I think. Second Saga's a problem, but we drew Persist. Let's freaking go. Awesome. So we have 3 looks at another land to get an Archon into play next turn. So they're going to kill my Teferi with their Midnight that isn't mantled. I guess they can attack. Sorry, they could attack with this one. So I'm down to 10. Solitude should mean this game 1's pretty much in the bag. Yeah, that's the nuts right there. They get Shadow Spear, which I have no fear of Shadow Spear here. Gonna take measly 7 damage. Probably gonna draw step Ephemerate. So if they draw Paladin and we draw step Ephemerate, they can sack the Silent Clearing, but then they can't Paladin, so it should be fine. And we can also like look for a white card with the Mending, and we get to draw off the Ephemerate too. Oh yeah, they could Ink Moth sack. That should be fine too, though, right? Because we're not taking enough damage to die to that. But I did miss that line. So they do draw the card off the clearing, and they don't sack the Ink Moth. We should be fine. They can Paladin if they equip Mantle. If they equip Mantle, they're having to tap the construct though. So then at that point, them getting Paladin doesn't matter at all. They discard Stoneforge Mystic. The other card was another copy of Silent Clearing, and there's nothing they can draw, right? Yeah, we can also pretty easily chump. So I block here. They animate the Nexus. I guess it's pretty free to Mending, and then if I end up finding a white card, I could just Solitude the Nexus. 2 Mulldrifters. Alright, let's just take it. Alright, don't cast the Ephemerate in these spots, just attack. And this is game. This is game. We don't need to really worry too much. I'm just gonna get another Archon. And writes the Archon. Okay. So usually against Hammer Time, I cut all of the copies of Grief, and I bring in the Stony Silences and the Prismatic Endings, and then I also bring in the Fatal Pushes, and I cut the 4th Archon and the 4th Ephemerate, or the 3rd Teferi, or the 2nd Rites. I think Solitude Ephemerate is just too good on the draw, especially, that I'm gonna leave him in. I also saw that like this list that my opponent's playing plays 2 Rest in Peace and a Relic and 2 Sanctifier, assuming the sideboard hasn't changed too much, which does make Teferi a little bit better that can bounce Rest in Peace, but it's also really easy for them to replay it. I think I'm gonna trim a Mulldrifter or maybe a Rites, one of these. Mulldrifter's not that good in this matchup either. Let's trim a Rites, knowing that they have to Rest in Peace, I think. What matchups are Emissary best in? Like this is like the best Emissary matchup probably, but it's also good against like elementals, affinity, humans. This is a keep. Put a mulls to 6. I guess I should probably try to hold the ending for Rest in Peace if I can, especially against a mull to 5. I'm unlikely to cast the ending on turn 1. Do you know if one has Path? I don't remember seeing it in the list. They had Anthonice. I can't remember if they were playing snow covered basics this game. Yeah, we saw Anthonice in the list. Yeah, they're still snow covered basics. So that's Anthonice is way better for us than Path because we can ending the ice. All right, they mull to 5. Esper Sentinel. Not a bad card at all. So this game might end up being turn 3 Exile Rest in Peace, turn 4 Unmarked Grave plus Persist. We're up a game. Okay, so I'm going to Solitude to exile the Sentinel, then Unmarked Grave. My opponent missed a land drop, so while they might have Graveyard Hate in their hands, I think this is the. I guess maybe I should have got Emissary instead, but I'm a little bit worried about Anthonice. I guess I have Ending. I should have got Emissary because they could have Sanctifier. If they have Rest in Peace, they have Rest in Peace. We're still playing. They did draw the land, unfortunately. I guess they could have Saga could have been sandbagged here. Yeah, they definitely could have been sandbagging the Saga. It's kind of interesting. I mean, they're not just immediately slamming Rest in Peace, so maybe they don't have it. They definitely don't have Sanctifier, or they can't play Sanctifier. Let's go! Let's go! Bit too free for the bean. Sandbag Saga's a good band name. I agree with you. Absolutely agree with that. Why did Hammer didn't stop playing Lurrus so much as this player likes to play like sort of Fire and Ice and Nettlecyst instead. It's not necessarily a stock thing. Okay, I did see Anthonice, so I did see like in the deck list we saw online that they were playing Anthonice, so we'll hold the ending for that. Brutal. All right. This is how you play the deck. They just don't draw the Rest in Peace and you win. All right. So we won the finals. Oh, sorry, we're on to the finals. Doomwake versus Canister is going to be a good one to watch, but let's get a prediction going for winning the whole thing, and we're going to be playing against either Doom or Canister. Mulligan. You guys aren't going to like this, but this is a keep. This is way better than the average 5. You guys are not going to like this, but this is definitely a keep. This is way better than the average 5. Doesn't feel good, I know. Is it though? Yeah, this is 100% a keep. I know it feels bad, but I would mulligan this on 6. Reflecting Pool go. Maybe Doom also kept the 1-lander. Easy clap. Wow, this hand's so good all of a sudden. Yeah, it's easy. Wonder what they hit, huh? Alright, I guess best draw now is Grief to get through Force of Negation. There are 80 cards. How can Doom have Force here? And I can't ephemerate my Solitude either. So we have a Rites in the Yard and the Archon. No! Okay, I guess we have to do Solitude or Rhino. And then draw a land or Persist. This maybe is not enough anyways. No, it should be. That wasn't great. I think this is my sideboard plan. Pushing the Rhinos is a losing game plan. Sounds great if we draw a land in the top 2. Pretty good, probably otherwise. Mr. Relaxim, thank you for the 6 months. Okay, this hand this hand really feels like it's gonna win if we draw that land for Teferi. Teferi is very good here. But if we miss on the lands, I don't know. Okay, we found it, awesome. I'm gonna Thoughtseize to play around the Force of Negation being drawn this turn. They drew another Cascade spell. I guess I'll take the, so they drew another Rhinos. Okay, Teferi, assuming Doom does not top deck Force of Negation or Fire Ice in the 80 card deck. I guess we'd also have to draw a land. Let's go. Okay, two potentially very lopsided games, huh? Ardent Plea, mystery card over there. I'll just get Rites in a turn. Game 3. Not super exciting, but we're going to game 3. Game 1 was kind of interesting. There was some back and forth there. Kept the one-lander on the play. Okay, Teferi's not quite good enough by itself on the draw, probably. I might keep this on 7 cards. Because I could discard the Archon, but I can't keep that on 6. I have Grief Ephemerate. This is a 5-card hand. My 5-card hand can be Grief Ephemerate, and then either a Mending or a Teferi. I guess it's just gonna be the Teferi. Not too bad. Not too good either, though. Okay, if we draw now, I'm feeling a lot better. If we just draw 1 land in the top 2, this hand's actually like pretty good. Doom kept 7 all 3 games, I think. The luck sack. Alright, so I'm going to take the Fire Ice and the Borrower. Drew Footfalls is pretty good for us. Taking the disputes. All right. We need to. Doomake needs to draw a white land here to cast Ardent Plea. Let's go! Yeah! Hell yeah! Let's freaking go! All the 5, baby. Easy. Easy. Alright, I'm not going to let the Teferi die to a 2 damage burn spell. Wait one more turn before I bounce the Grief. Yorion into the hand. Pass back. Why did I take the plea? No, I was definitely the right play not to take the plea there. Doom says my play was greedy. I disagree. No, he has to draw exactly a white source. Yeah, no. Yeah, Doom is wrong to say my play is greedy there. It was 100% correct to take the dispute when I have the Teferi in hand there. 100% correct. We need to draw land and we need Doom to dodge the land, but I'm on the maybe Doom is forgetting I'm on the Mold of 5 there, right? I'm on the Mold of 5. There's no way I can just like play to outgrind Doomwake in that spot. But it can be hard to like perfectly evaluate it, you know what I mean? This card's 4. His hand is just 2 Ardent Pleas right now. Let's freaking go! We did it! Awesome. Let's go. 2 free for the bean, huh? Mold of 5. That was pretty sick. Alright, well we have to do the... Oh, I already made the good grief pun in my other tweet. One. Let's hit him with the woohoo. Let's get some woohoos in the chat. Can I see a woohoo anywhere? Woohoo! And then, as a thank you to all of you guys hanging out today on this Saturday, spending your Saturday with me, let's open 100 chests at once. Let's go. I need to rebuild my play points. Okay, got a lot of avatars. Let's open the 100 chests. Prismatic Vista. Nissa. Arid Mesa. It's not looking too good. It's not looking too good. Fulminator Mage. Marsh Flats. Nykthos might be something. Temples. Okay, that wasn't great. But we have a reroll. We have a reroll with our one of Strixhaven pack. Okay, this is nice. This is nice. This looks really cool. Okay, thanks everybody for hanging out today. Awesome, we won. Cool.